After a huge Russian cargo plane ploughed into an apartment block in Siberia. Tonight, the first pictures from Irkutsk revealed a scene of complete devastation. Rescuers are still searching for survivors. From Moscow, Ben McCarthy reports.
This is the scene of carnage caused by one of the world's largest aircraft ploughing into flats in the middle of a busy city. The Russian Antonov military cargo plane was carrying 2 jet fighters and 110 tons of fuel when it came down in the city of Irkutsk just seconds after takeoff. There were scores of casualties on the ground as fire ripped through blocks of flats surrounding the wreckage. All 46 crew on board the plane were killed, but in the confusion, the exact death toll is still unknown. Remarkably, an orphanage next to the crash site remained unscathed, although a number of the children had to be treated for burns. Rescue teams have been working in temperatures of -20 degrees Celsius as they search for survivors. An investigation into the cause of the crash has begun, and the plane's black box flight data recorders have been recovered. One report suggests that 2 of the engines on the left of the aircraft failed on takeoff. 4 years ago, again in Irkutsk, 125 people died when a Russian passenger plane crashed as one of its engines caught fire after taking off from the city's airport. The Russian President Boris Yeltsin has said he's deeply shocked by this latest disaster. He sent his Prime Minister to help in the investigation. But in the last 5 years in Russia, 1,300 people have died in more than 100 air crashes. In most cases, poor maintenance has been blamed, and that is the most likely explanation for today's crash. Ben McCarthy, ITN, Moscow.
Here, explosive experts have defused
the All Blacks before the New Zealanders staged a ferocious comeback. In the end, it was a record 26-all draw. Chris Roberts reports.
This time, there was respect from the England players for the New Zealand haka, but for the All Blacks' reputation as unbeatable, nothing but scorn. Within just 4 minutes of the kickoff, David Rees was tearing through the New Zealand defence to open the scoring. 4 minutes after that, a breathtaking run from Will Greenwood, and when the All Blacks finally stopped him, Richard Hill was there to finish. England were rampant, captain Lawrence Dallaglio outpacing the New Zealand defence for number 3. By half-time, England were 23-9 up. The second half, however, was a different story. The All Blacks launched a ferocious assault to defend their unbeaten record for 1997. Mertens beginning the comeback. Walter Little then slipped through a tiring England defence, and all of a sudden, the All Blacks were in front and in control. But it was Paul Grayson who scored the game's last points. A penalty tying an amazing match, 26-all, the highest draw in international rugby's history. Chris Roberts, ITN Sport.
Scotland too were involved in a record-breaking game. Unfortunately for them, it was a record home defeat at the hands of the world champion South Africa. The Springboks scored 10 tries, 8 in the second half. The final score, Scotland 10, South Africa 68 points. In football, goal king Cole is